So I want you guys to ponder this question as we get into this discussion about Salt Lake City. Is Lisa Vanderpump the new LVP? And I say that because from what we see on the show, Lisa is being painted as someone who is manipulating friendships behind the scenes to suit her benefits. Or if she doesn't like someone, she wants to ice them out. This is the way we are. This is the information that we are being given on the show. And I want to know if you guys see that comparison based on that information, or if you think that the ladies are reaching with her and maybe she's not Lisa Vanderpump. I want to know what your thoughts are down in the comment section down below. Chime in the chatterization. It's your boy DJ Richie Skye back with another video. Listen, y'all, I'm having a time today. I recorded a full 25-minute video describing all of my thoughts and feelings about the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. And for some reason, the video did not save. Okay, I'm mad, but I'm determined, okay? So you can't stop somebody when they're determined. It don't matter what's going on in life. Don't let no situation stop you from being great, okay? And they're not gonna stop me today. Delta done already stopped me by putting me up in this hostel, okay? So I don't even got good internet, so I can't go live with Adam from Up in Adam, because y'all know we typically do the lives with Up in Adam for Salt Lake City. But I'm going to give you guys my general thoughts on this situation based on a little bit of tea that we've also gotten from Lisa online. You know, I'm going to go ahead and rate this episode before we even dive into everything that I want to talk about. And I'm not going to go so much from my notes as much anymore on this one this time, but I'm really going to go with my gut feelings about most of the scenes. And, you know, I'm going to rate this episode a 9. I like this episode a lot because we interestingly got a new housewife. Well, we got a friend of the housewives, I should say, in Angie. And it's very interesting because Angie was rumored to be on the cast last season. And they had been talking about her. Her name had been tossed about, you know, on a lot of different sites that were dedicated to housewives of Salt Lake City. But for whatever reason, she didn't end up becoming a housewife. Now, my theory is that because Mary was supposed to also be a friend, she's the one who actually got the housewife role and Angie didn't get it. But we did see Angie last season, so it's not surprising that she's back this season. Now, the interesting thing is that Angie is described as Lisa's friend who meets Whitney through Lisa. But then they discover, or at some point in time, she discovers, my guess it was during the season, that they were actually cousins, because they share the same great granddaddy. Now, my thing is this: if the granddaddy's so great, I mean, listen, aren't we all related to a certain degree? Because if I go back that far, I mean, cavemen were back in the day. So didn't we all come from cavemen? So we all related, okay? Lisa kind of feels like this whole thing is far-fetched between them. And what I think is that Lisa probably wasn't expecting or anticipating for Angie to get, you know, the friend role or to be featured in such a major way. So it might have been shocking to her that Angie was waiting to confront her on camera, because I don't think that Lisa was prepared for that. I think that Lisa probably thought that, you know, oh, this is going to be a classy event that everybody's going to be going to, you know, it's just going to be filmed. But actually, we get a first-time friend of the wives getting her own event and also getting her own confessionals, like out of nowhere. We weren't anticipating this. I had not heard anything about Angie coming back in except for prior to maybe like 3 or 4 days before the episode aired. Meanwhile, I like her as an addition to this show. She seems fresh. I like her perspective. She seems very grounded in what she's saying, but she's also seemingly coming here to play. Like, I felt like her confronting Lisa at the end of the episode was peak Housewives. Lisa wondered why Angie didn't confront her over the phone. But Angie, I feel like, had other plans and said, I'm about to get on this show and I'm about to show y'all what I can do, okay? And that she did. But before we get into all of that, let's talk about the episode. Let's break it all down. We first start off with the continuation of Jen and Lisa is trying to convince Meredith and Jen to make up in their separate corners. Heather is commentating from the side like she is a CNN announcer, and she is not willing to go get into any of these conversations because they are on thin ice, and she lied about her weight. Now, this to me was one of the most relatable moments, and it really goes into why we like Heather as a housewife in general, because she's just so relatable. I mean, sure, she's got money, sure, she's got a thriving business, but at the end of the day, you know, homegirl likes to eat, and she's not afraid to talk about it. She, you know, I feel like I just like her. Stuff like that makes her likable, and I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Meanwhile, Jen does something that I feel like is kind of crazy. She takes off her tennis bracelet, and she didn't take it off. I guess it falls off in the argument or whatever. And then Lisa tries to give it to her, and then she ends up tossing the tennis bracelet. Now, allegedly, this tennis bracelet is worth $70,000. Now, if this tennis bracelet is worth $70,000, okay, and the allegations are that you are scamming the elderly out of their money, that means that the general public is going to now think you just threw $70,000 worth of the elderly people's money, allegedly, onto the ground and didn't care about it because you're mad about some friendship. I don't think that's going to look good for her in court, but whatever. You know, I feel like Meredith feels like Lisa's trying so hard to get them to be friends again because it's going to make it easier for Lisa. And Lisa, to me, seems like the unofficial group ringleader, because it feels as though, from what I understand, Lisa seemed to put together most of the cast for the production company. So with that being said, it is because of her that they are all there. So in that respect, I feel like, I'm sure Lisa probably feels like in order for the show to be great, they need to actually all, at least in some way, shape, or form, be able to be around each other. So I can see strategically why she would feel like they needed to get along. I also feel like this was similar to LVP. Not that LVP put the group together, because we know that that was mostly Kyle. But at the end of the day, I mean, it did seem like for a very long time, Lisa was the person who was allegedly sort of manipulating things behind the scenes the way that they are claiming that Lisa is doing now with her not wanting Angie to claim Whitney. Okay, so that's that. Another thought was that I didn't really understand, but as you view the situation on the screen, it does look like Lisa is coddling to Jen's wild behavior, because I just feel like, who would want to put up with that? And to me, Jen is too old to not understand how liking a tweet is not, she doesn't seem to understand that liking a tweet is supporting the notion of what that person said in that tweet. And if someone says something homophobic about someone's son and you like that, you're basically showing support for it. But to double down on that situation, she's also claiming that she didn't even do it because she doesn't run her social media. Girl, that's the same as like, I mean, somebody is running your business. Your business is in support of something controversial. So you have to take responsibility for your business. And Jen, you are too old to not understand that. And if we are to believe, as the allegations are, you know, saying you were one of the ringleaders in charge of this whole, you know, scamming of the old people, for you to have allegedly run an operation that big and complex, you should be able to grasp this concept very easily. Okay. Meanwhile, of course, we got to say allegedly, because people are innocent until proven guilty. Allegedly. Okay, so unless you black. Anyway, to move on right on along, you know, and that's the other thing. You know, Jen likes to play this card of, you know, well, everybody's against me, and it's always with the implication that it's because she is a woman of color. And I feel like it's dangerous for her to continue to do it in this way. The women don't have a problem with the color of your skin. They have a problem with the way you're acting. And nobody else in the group is acting like that. So we really don't have a basis for comparison. And I would wager to say that the things she's doing is mean. You're basically getting online, trashing your friends, you know, and the people that you claim to want to be friends with, and they don't understand why you're doing it. And it doesn't make any sense. You blow up at the drop of a hat, and you cause a scene, and you cause chaos, and you have rage and regret. What else is there to say? Meanwhile, Stewart has to talk Jen off a ledge. She finally goes over to apologize to Meredith in a more genuine way, and she wants to also apologize to Brooks. I was here for this moment because I really can't take any much more of this going on for another episode. So thank God. moving right along, Lisa meets up with Angie and some other chick. They're bonding over Chick-fil-A and coleslaw. That's where we learn that Angie has a transgender son. I like Angie right off the bat. They're having a charity event, and Angie lets Lisa know that Whitney's going to be there, and is there going to be any issues, okay? Lisa is not buying that Angie and Whitney are related, as they claim to be cousins from their great granddaddy. But to them in the scene, Lisa says that she would never try to control who anybody is friends with. Well, we're about to see if that's true or not, okay? And I must say, I do like Lisa. Behind the scenes, she is a very, she's just a joy. I can tell you that personally. But on the show, they make her out to be, the person who is trying to manage them all behind the scenes. Meredith comes over to visit Mary. She's just got a vampire facial. Mary don't understand how somebody can put anything but the blood of Jesus on their face. So they also get into a discussion about, Jen apologizing, and they're all going to go to the charity event, and Mary hasn't seen Jen since they got back from New York from the reunion, where Jen apologized, but now Jen is retweeting or reposting some disparaging things about Mary and her granddaddy, or step-granddaddy, or whatever. Whitney meets her new cousin, Angie, okay? And we learn ironically that they met through Lisa. Apparently there's some drama. Angie tells Whitney that Lisa allegedly had somebody from her camp call the caterers for the event and basically either threaten them or say something negative or disparaging about, Angie and what was going on. So much so that the catering group, who is really close with Lisa, declined the offer to come and do the event. Days before, and this happened apparently 5 hours after Lisa found out that Angie and Whitney were cool and hanging out or whatever. So they obviously think that now Lisa is trying to set up Angie because she is trying to punish her for being cool with Whitney. Okay. What we also interestingly find out via social media is that apparently Lisa says this. She says that Angie forgot a key part. She had catering. She said, "I would never cancel a caterer, nor is that something anyone could do. Marco and Aubrey are amazing people." I guess those are the caterers. She says they weren't able to cater casino night, but he made sure to have his brother fill in while they focused on the new restaurant. The food was amazing. Marco's brother did an amazing job. So apparently there was catering at the event, but there's a discrepancy with that, and we'll get into it a little bit later. Meanwhile, everybody's getting, ready for the event. The event looks great. Lisa comes in and totally ignores Whitney as Whitney is talking to Jeannie. Lisa is like, "Oh my God, Jenny, hey girl, you look so good with your curly hair. Hey, hey, hey." And Whitney is like, "Hi, Lisa." And Lisa's like, "Hey girl, but back to you, Jenny, and this hair, ow." But then the interesting thing is that Lisa says, what does she say? "There's nothing worse than being at a party with no food." Now, I don't know if this was like a throwaway line and there actually was food and she was saying there's nothing like being at a party with no food, or if she was actually commenting on the fact that there was no food. So was there food or was there not food? What really happened? Somebody explain to me down in the comment section down below. And I will put the link in the description down below where you guys can actually read the things that Lisa had tweeted, because she also tweeted that a text message exchange between her and Angie in which she kind of reveals that she did tell Angie, "Don't claim Whitney," as Whitney will actually expose later on in the episode that Angie told her that, Lisa has said don't claim her. Whitney's going to confront her about that. And, this text message or this text exchange seems to confirm that. And it's from Lisa. Anyway, links will be in the description down below so you guys can read that for yourself. Anyway, Jen interestingly comments about it being such a big deal about, this being a casino night, but it's in a heavily, Mormon community and how it kind of goes against the grain for what, Mormons believe. So that was very interesting as well. We get a nice speech, about the charity from Angie's husband. Somebody literally donates $1 million. I thought that was cool. Jen kind of saddles up to Mary and wants to apologize. Well, she really thinks that they're on a good foot. She wants the husbands to get together so they can cook. And Mary is like, no, ma'am, you still been talking about me. And then Jen basically sweet talks Mary and offers her a pinky swear and basically says, you got to trust that where our relationship is going is good. And Mary seemingly forgets about the fact that Jen had retweeted or posted something about her and her husband, and is so enamored by this pinky swear that she just completely moves forward and says they're going to move forward. So I'm like, okay, well, there's that. Angie comes back around in the room at the charity in her wardrobe change, and she needs to go talk to Lisa. Because you must confront someone and you must look good when you do so. So you got to change your outfit. And that's why I said Angie didn't come to play. Angie said, I'm getting on this show, y'all. Hey, welcome me. I have arrived. I'm not mad at it, but I understand that she understood the assignment. I will say that. And I don't even like that phrase. Anyway, she pulls her to the side and basically asks her, hey girl, did you have these people, cancel out on the catering for my event? Because they say you did and they mention your name. What's tea? And Lisa's looking like, what does this have to do with me? And why are you confronting me about this on camera? If you had an issue with me, you should have called me, girl, directly. And I will say that I agree with that. If there is an issue, you should call somebody and let them know that you have an issue with them and ask them about it versus doing it on camera, unless you know you're going to be on a TV show. And that's why I surmised earlier that I don't think that Lisa knew that Angie was going to be part of the show, because that means that she would have known or understood why Angie was confronting her on camera, because she would have known that Angie was going to be on this show in a major way. I don't think she thought that. So now she's sitting there like, well, I don't know what this whole situation is about, and why are you saying that I had anything to do with it? But Angie's like, no, girl, I got the text message, and this is what was said, okay? And so then, Angie, they get into this conversation about, Lisa not really liking the fact that Angie and Whitney are cool. But, Angie's like, well, listen, you can be friends with Jen and Meredith, and that's okay, right? And then Lisa's like, well, me and Meredith are good. And Angie's like, are you? And Lisa's like, and this is when she becomes kind of incensed and she starts to unravel a little bit. She runs off to get Jen and Meredith and bring them back into the room. And she really wants to display that her, Meredith, and Jen are all good. And I think that Lisa's main issue is that Lisa likes to be seen in a positive light, because Lisa is very much about her business. And I can understand that. And I actually relate to that. But I also think that Lisa is even more interesting to me when she does become a little bit unraveled and unhinged, because unlike Jen, it doesn't happen very often. So when it does happen, you're kind of like, well, what's happening here? Also, too, the way that she was becoming so unraveled kind of made her look a little bit guilty. I have to say that. I hate to say it, but I understand. So anyway, Whitney ends up coming back into the room, and Whitney basically confronts Lisa and is like, listen, I know you told this woman not to be friends with me, not to claim me, and all this stuff like that, and we know what you're up to, and I got a PhD in your behavior, pretty much. So Lisa at this point is screaming because I feel like Whitney kind of reads her a little bit accurately about how she is when she is confronted. And I just don't think that Lisa, who likes to be in control of herself and how she is perceived, likes being put in this position. And so, like LVP, when she was confronted by the women in Puerto Rico about whether or not she told Brandy to bring the tabloids about Kyle's husband allegedly cheating on Kyle down to Puerto Rico, and Lisa Vanderpump ended up leaving with her husband, this was a very similar vibe to how Lisa left after being confronted about whether or not she did or did not tell Angie to be friends with, Whitney, or whether or not she did try to sabotage that event as they are alleging. Okay, so that's why I get the LVP comparisons, because it's really about perception. I happen to like LVP a lot, but I know that a lot of people didn't. Anyway, that was Salt Lake City. Y'all let me know in the chatterization what y'all think about this episode. I actually thought it was very good. It had a lot of drama, and it had some new people and some fresh faces. So that's why I really liked it as well. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell button, and please like this video. Lord, I did it twice. So, y'all, I'm gonna catch y'all in the next video.